Most people hear the word physics and run for cover, but it's not just for rocket scientists. You are surrounded by physics all the time, and whether you realize it or not, you use physics every day. Physics, the study of matter and energy, is an ancient and broad field of science. This video would help you to be safe and wise in dealing with everyday tasks with the use of different physics concepts. One Day with Physics, a guide to easier living.
Tip number 1. When squeezing a toothpaste tube, squeeze the toothpaste tube from the bottom, not in the middle. Why? Squeezing the tube increases the pressure in the tube, which pushes equally in all directions. The blob of toothpaste in the neck of the tube is subject to this pressure from one side but the other, so moves down the neck and out of the tube. Tip number 2. When mixing hot water to tap water, put the hot water first, then keep the faucet running. Why? Hot water would rise while the tap water would sink. When you add the hot water first, followed by the running faucet, it would mix the water by itself. This would save time and energy. Tip number 3. When choosing a bag, it is best to use a backpack. Why? Since the weight of a backpack is equally distributed in both of your shoulders, you have a lower chance of losing your balance. Unlike shoulder bags, wherein the weight exerted by these kinds of bag is only on one side of your body. Besides having a better posture, using the backpack would allow you to have a better sense of balance. Tip number 4. When standing on a bus, always keep your feet apart. Why? A person with a wider base of support results to higher stability and has a greater chance in achieving balance. Tip number 5. When using an air conditioner, aim the air vents where the cold air comes out upwards. Why? Cold air sinks, while hot air rises due to density of the collection of particles. For better air circulation, air conditioning units are placed at high places in a room. If you aim the air vents upwards, the air would circulate faster, thus making the room cool faster also. Tip number 6. When using an air conditioner, close all the windows and doors. Why? Heat flows from areas with higher temperature to areas with lower temperature. Leaving the windows and doors open would allow that heat from the outside of the room to flow inside. If you keep the doors and windows open, your room won't be cooled all that much, but your electricity bill will shoot to the sky. Tip number 7. While waiting in a train station, stay away the yellow line or platform. Why? When a fast-moving train passes a man standing on the platform at rest, the air between the train and the person also moves with greater speed. According to Bernoulli's principle, the pressure decreases in the region where the air is flowing with higher speed. During this time the pressure behind the person is higher, which may push the person towards the low pressure, in this case, towards the train. Tip number 8. When cooking, never touch the body of a pan barehanded when it is already on the stove. Why? Most metals have low specific heat. Metal atoms in pure metal are very close together, and are able to transfer heat easily, via conduction from one atom exciting the other atoms next to it. Tip number 9. When playing tug of war, it is best to have a team where each individual has a large mass, or is heavy. Why? Since the gravity affecting both opponents is the same, a larger mass would mean a larger normal force, creating more friction. Friction would be helpful in tug of war, since one does not want to be easily pulled by their opponent. Tip number 10. When swimming, press your upper chest further into the water. Why? You can control your buoyancy to your advantage by actually pressing your upper chest further into the water. This tends to bring one's hips closer to the surface and can reduce drag or fluid resistance.
Bonus: the physics of productivity, Newton's laws of getting stuff done. In 1687, Sir Isaac Newton published his groundbreaking book, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, which described his 3 laws of motion, and redefined the way the world looked at physics and science. Newton's laws of motion reveal insights that tell you pretty much everything you need to know about how to be productive. Newton's first law of productivity: objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Find a way to get started in less than 2 minutes. Newton's second law of productivity: it's not just about working hard, it's also about working on the right things. You have a limited amount of force and where you apply it matters. Newton's third law of productivity: your productivity is a balance of opposing forces. If you want to be more productive, you can either power through the barriers or remove the opposing forces. The second option seems to be less stressful.
Physics is always being used everywhere, whether we are conscious of it or not. With the use and knowledge of physics, one can take into account that knowledge to help them perform a deed more successfully and efficient.
Storms, they will come, but I know that the sun will shine again. He's my friend, and he says that we belong together, and I'll sing a song to break the ice. Just a smile from you would suffice.